of the things that people really struggle with is handling a rejection. I want to talk to you about the psychology of handling a rejection right now. But before we do that, I would suggest you probably subscribe to this channel, like this video, save this video, because it's going to help a lot of people that if you have a team or if you have people that are struggling with rejection, or if you're struggling with rejection. First and foremost, let me get this out of the way. I don't believe in rejection. And the reason why is because I found over the years what people call rejection really isn't rejection, and we're going to get into that. But I'm going to give you 5 things that I believe in the psychology of handling a rejection is going to help you move past that. It's going to help you move in a manner that's going to make you feel better about it, because the moment that I saw that rejection was nothing more than just feedback, or rejection was nothing more than maybe redirecting you to a different place, different conversation, different thinking, whatever. And sometimes rejection is just bad timing. A lot of times people will say no and quote unquote reject you, but understand they never reject you. Did you get that? They never reject you, ever. It's rejecting what you have in your offer. Let me ask you a question. Let's say that somebody says, no, that's just not something I'm interested in. But if you called them back a couple of weeks later, would they take your call? Yeah, they take your call. They didn't reject you. They basically said they didn't want your offer. That's all rejection is. It doesn't mean that you've done something wrong. It doesn't mean you're a bad person or you stink at this business or anything else. There's things that go on that you have no control of. The big 3, which I call about as far as you can't control, number 1 is timing. Number 2, somebody else's previous experience with something that made them less than positive about it. And then number 3, how they see their life and will this fit in it. So this is why the psychology of handling a rejection really doesn't have that much to do with you. It has more to do with the prospect, with timing and various other situations as well. Well, most people don't fear rejection as much as they fear what it means about them. Did you get that? Most people don't fear rejection. They fear what it says about them. They feel like that they've done something wrong. They feel like they're not capable. They feel like that they're a loser, but it's not that at all. All rejection is somebody just disagreeing with you. That's it. Did you get that? And psychologically speaking, all rejection is people they're disagreeing with you. Be perfectly blunt. I want to give you 5 quick things that are going to help you not only understand that it's just a disagreement and currently they're just not in the market for what you're offering, but more importantly, the psychological aspects of it. See, when you get rejected, when somebody disagrees with you and says no, what happens is a survival response is triggered in the brain. Triggered in the brain. Rejection triggers a survival response. And it's not the truth. It's just how the brain operates, because the moment that something seems wrong, it hurts you or you take it wrong or whatever, the brain goes into protect mode. And that's one of the reasons why the rejection does sting, because the brain is protecting you. And oftentimes when you're disappointed because somebody didn't take the sale or take your offer or whatever, the brain pulls you back. But that's not it. It's a survival response that the brain's putting you through, and you don't need survival response. What you need is a truth response. Did you get that? The truth of the matter is you've done nothing wrong. They just disagreed with you. Could be timing, could be something else, but you did nothing wrong. It's nothing more than feedback saying that I'm not the person that you're looking for right now. Did you get that? Psychologically speaking, you've got to get rid of this survival response, because when somebody starts telling you no or anything else, it feels like that they have really said something bad about you, but rejection has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the prospect and what their thoughts are, what they're feeling, and where they are. Number 2, your self-image decides how strong rejection impacts you. Did you get that? Your self-image, which you have, and you're thinking, you talk a lot on your videos about self-image. Self-image is everything, period. End of discussion. And this is why that your self-image decides whether rejection will sting or whether it will push you forward to a new conversation. And this is why that if you see yourself as capable and you see yourself as strong, if you see yourself going big places, then rejection is not going to really do much to you. But if you see yourself as unworthy, then it's going to hurt because, again, it validates what you're feeling, that you're unworthy. And this is where the real psychology is here. I want you to get this. When you feel unworthy and somebody says no to you, that no validates that you're unworthy and you feel worse about yourself. And this is why that you got to craft your self-image to understand that rejection has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the person that's not really in the market for your offer. They're not rejecting you. They're simply saying no to what you want them to do. And they may disagree with the timing. They may disagree. They don't like the product, or they may disagree with a lot of things. But most people, believe it or not, that see rejection as, oh, I'm unworthy. It has nothing to do with you. And they're not validating your unworthy. You need to change your self-image. Number 3, rejection can often be misread when you're really tired. Did you get that? This is the thing from a psychological standpoint. Most people feel rejection the worst when they're exhausted, when they're tired, when they're fatigued. And this is one of the reasons why that it's not the rejection that you're really feeling, it's your fatigue increasing the validity of it, increasing the impact of it. You can't let that happen. You cannot let that happen, because when you're tired, when I'm really exhausted, to be perfectly blunt, and I'm looking for new business, I'd rarely ever reach out, because I know that no matter, I teach this stuff and it's still being human. That's just how human is. When you're tired, you amplify things. When you're really exhausted, you increase things much bigger than they really are. That is what happens when you're tired. It increases the pain or disappointment or rejection to the point where it's almost emotionally overwhelming. But if you have a good self-image, if you understand it has nothing to do with you, it's nothing but feedback, and all rejection is they're disagreeing basically with your offer, it doesn't mean you can't go back later. It just means right now it's not what they're looking for. Rejection is a feedback about timing more than anything else. My mentor taught me that. He says rejection doesn't really have much to do with you, Doug. Most of the time, it's just about timing, either financially, emotionally, actionably, seasonably. He says it just depends on where the person is, and it may and usually is really bad timing. And no usually doesn't mean no. What my mentor said, Douglas, no means just simply not now. Did you get that? Not now. And when you see rejection as a not now, then you file it as that. And your self-image says, okay, this isn't something currently that they're wanting in their life, which is fine, but I'll talk with them sometime later about it. And I'll circle back around and just casually mention it again. So understand, rejection is more about timing, not you. And your meaning of rejection, how you see rejection, how you feel about rejection, shapes your future behavior. Did you get that? How you feel about it, how you see and view rejection, it shapes your future behavior. And my mentor said, Douglas, if you see rejection as a stop sign, you're going to stop. But if you see rejection as an open doorway waiting for you to go through it to the next conversation, you're going to keep moving. He says, see rejection nothing more as a doorway that you open to a new conversation with somebody else. Folks, people aren't rejecting you. Clients, potential customers aren't rejecting you. And I understand you can get disappointed if you were counting on that sale, if you're counting on that person. I get that. I've been there. But don't let it ruin you and your self-image. Step back, say this wasn't for them. They didn't reject me. It's all about timing. I'm going to move on to the next conversation. All stands for next one. That's it. That's all it says. Next one are not open. They're just not open to what you have to offer right now. If you understand what I just said, it could psychologically change everything about how you feel about and experience rejection. Rejection triggers a survival response. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to trigger, there's that word again, a truth response. Your self-image decides how deeply rejection impacts you, to be perfectly blunt. Rejection is often totally misread, totally increased, totally overinflated when you're tired. Rejection isn't about you, it's more about timing. And your view of rejection will determine your future behavior. Rejection isn't personal. Rejection will never be personal. It just is more directional on where you need to take it with this person or with a new person, just depending upon what they say. Psychologically speaking, rejection is one of your greatest friends as well. What? Yes, because it builds you, it forces you to grow stronger, and it forces you to understand that everybody has the right to tell you no. Just make sure that you don't get overwhelmed emotionally by it, because all it is feedback. All it is saying you may want to try a new direction, and most importantly, it's about timing for the prospect. It's that simple, psychologically. Guys, subscribe to this channel, like, follow, share, and do yourself a favor. Send this to somebody, because it'll help them, people that are struggling with rejection, because, again, it's not about you. It had nothing to do with you as much as the prospect. Do yourself a favor. Get a fire journal. Take notes. Spread the fire.